friends, before we begin, let me be very clear with you. This is not a motivational talk. I am not here to tell you to work harder or to study for 10 hours a day. This session is all about marks, real board marks. And the uncomfortable truth is very simple. Board examples don't reward efforts, they reward the execution. Every year, students study very sincerely, they follow these labels and still end up with marks they never expected. So today, I am going to show you how the toppers actually think and how they write answers inside the exam hall. Now picture this, you walk out of the board exam feeling very calm, your pen never stopped, you attempted every question and even used the supplementary answer sheet. And someone asks, paper kaisa gaya? And you smile, बहुत बढ़िया, 90 marks तो पक्का आएंगे. Your parents are very happy, your teachers seem satisfied, and you finally relax. Then the result day comes, you open your phone and you say 70 out of 100. You refresh it, same number, and then you see the top one, 98 marks, right? So someone who did not panic and did not even study more than you, that's when the real question hits. I did everything right, so where did my marks go? If this sounds familiar or you are scared it might, this session is for you. So because today we are not studying economics, we are learning how to write economics in a way that makes marks almost guaranteed. The most dangerous myth students believe is that if they know the content, marks will automatically be followed. In board examinations here, this simply is not true. Knowledge is only the raw material while the presentation is the finished product. The examiner does not see your hard work, your sacrifices or the number of hours you have studied, and he certainly doesn't care about your tuition fees or the school fees. The examiner sees only one thing, your answer sheet, right? What you have written in it. That is why our goal today is very clear and very powerful to write answers in such a way that it becomes mathematically impossible for the examiner to cut your marks. So students, to win any game, you first need to understand your opponent. The board examinations, that opponent is the examiner, right? A CBSE examiner checks around 25 to 30 answer sheets every day, sitting for hours and going through the same question, same answers, same diagrams and handwriting again and again. So by the time your paper reaches them, they are tired. They are not reading every line carefully. They are quickly scanning your answer sheet, and while doing this, they are mainly looking for just three things. The first thing they notice is the structure and presentation. They immediately see whether your answer is well organized or just one long paragraph, right? A messy answer gives the impression that student is confused, he is not well prepared, even if the content is correct, right? So the second thing, what they look for is keywords. Are you using the proper economic terms? Or are you writing in normal, general, everyday language, right? In economics, answers without technical words look very weak, even when the answer is right? And the third and the most important thing is the visibility, right? The examiner should be able to find your main points very quickly within 3 seconds. And if they have to search for it, marks start getting lost without you even realizing it. So this brings us to a very simple truth that toppers understand very well. When your answer sheet looks clean, clear and well structured, the examiner feels very comfortable giving you marks. And when you make the examiner's job easier, they naturally give you a better reward, they naturally reward you. In economics, marks are not about using fancy language or big English. They are about using the right economics terms. The examiner is not impressed with how smooth your sentences are, but how accurate your terms are. For example, saying people have more money and saying increase in disposable income. So it means the same thing, but they do not give the same marks. And in the same way, prices are going up sounds very normal, but there is inflation in the economy sounds like economics. Saying the government is spending more is vague, but an increase in the government expenditure is technically correct, right? And instead of writing banks give more loans, right, credit creation by commercial banks increases. So it makes your answer examiner friendly. The idea is the same, but the marks are not. To write like this, students should use keyword bank strategy, and every chapter should have at least 10 to 15 important keywords that represent its main ideas. For example, national income chapter, it includes words like national income, factor income, double counting, and net direct indirect taxes. Money in banking includes terms such as repo rate, credit creation, and SLR. While government budget chapter focuses on terms like fiscal deficit, capital receipts, and disinvestment. So, in the exam, lightly underline these keywords with a pencil. Before worrying about the long answers, diagrams, or presentations, remember one key fact: 20 out of 80 marks, one fourth, it comes from MCQs, right? That is one fourth of the paper. Yet, it is a section many students underestimate. And MCQs they are not easy questions. They test your accuracy. There is no step marking in them, no half marks, and no examiner sympathy in them. Each answer is either right or either wrong. So that is why toppers don't just attempt MCQs, they prepare for them very smartly. Toppers never memorize MCQs, right? They focus on just concepts because MCQs are designed to catch your weak understanding of the concept, not your weak memory, right? And if you can explain a topic in one clear line without opening the book, you are ready for the MCQs. They also keep an MCQ error notebook, the toppers, and whenever an MCQ goes wrong, they just note the question in the error book, the option chosen, and why it was wrong. So this habit matters because MCQ repeat patterns, they don't repeat questions. Average students repeat their mistakes and toppers remove them. So this is the difference between an average students and a topper with 90 plus marks. Another important area is keywords and opposite terms. So basically MCQs often test pairs like increase and decrease, planned and unplanned, real and nominal, stock and flow, etc. Right? So one wrong word can cost one full marks. So these pairs must be clear. Toppers also practice MCQ with a timer, right? So solving 20 MCQ in 10 minutes without books, it builds clarity under pressure, which is exactly what board tests. And lastly, in the exam hall, MCQs should be handled strategically. First, think of the answer without looking at the options. So, be very careful about the extreme words like always, all, only, etc. And attempt MCQs in 2 rounds. Sure ones first and doubtful ones later. And the final truth is very simple. With proper preparation, 18 to 20 marks from MCQs becomes almost guaranteed. MCQs may look small, but they quietly decide whether your score stays at 90 or move closer to 98. Now, apart from the long answers, there are many other type of questions that can come in MCQs and short answers, right? To prepare well for all these formats, students need a smart and structured approach. The first and most important step is to study through the NCRT book. It's the best book, right? NCRT is the strongest weapon for MCQs, fill in the blanks, true, false, and assumption and reasoning questions. These questions, because they are generally made from its language. If a line is written in the book, and it will come in the exam. So every line matters. The second step is to focus on understanding the concept instead of memorizing all the answers. Don't learn answers by heart. Try to understand why something is right or why something is wrong. So this one habit makes MCQs, insertion reasoning questions, these questions, one-liners much easier and reduce confusion in the examination. The third step is to practice all type of questions regularly. Preparing only long answers, MCQs, they create imbalances. And every day, students should practice MCQs, data-based questions, picture-based questions, and one-liners so that no format feels new in the examination. Along with this, students must train their eyes to read data calmly in database and picture-based questions, especially first observe the tables, graphs, and diagrams very carefully. Read the labels, underline those important values, and understand the trend before answering. And the final and the most powerful step is the smart revision using the mock test. So solve a lot of sample papers, previous year question papers within a time frame to build exam confidence. But remember, the real improvement happens after the test. When you analyze your mistakes, smart revision always works better than long hours of random study. Now listen carefully because this is where scoring 95% plus is actually decided, right? Board exams are not won or lost in 1 mark or MCQ questions. They are decided in what I call the power blocks of the paper, right? Now, as we see in the current pattern, 4 marks question carry 24 marks and 6 marks question also carries 24 marks. So together, that's how 48 out of 80 marks, almost 60% of the question paper. So this is where most students lose marks even without even realizing it. These questions are not meant to be written like long essays. A 6 mark question is usually split internally into 4 plus 2 or 3 plus 3, and a 4 mark question is split into 2 plus 2. So students like long mix up answers without clear parts might quietly slip away. Different questions need different writing styles. The most important thing to understand about 6 marks question is that in CBSE Economics, they never check as one take answers, right? The examiner already has 2 or 3 clear checkpoints in his mind, and if your answer does not clearly show those parts, full marks cannot be given. So even if your content is correct, that's why this is not about what you write, but how you write 6 marks answers. CBSE keeps repeating same 3-4 types of 6 marks question, and once you master these types, you can you gain real control over your marks. Now, first type of first we will do pure theory question like function of this central bank fiscal policy or sustainable development. So they are not essay questions, and writing them like long paragraphs is a very common mistake. So these questions should be answered using a very simple method called the Trinity layout. So what is Trinity layout? The first step is the definition, so which usually carries 1 mark. So write the definition in 1, 2, 3 clear lines, underlining the technical terms, and avoid turning it into a paragraph. Now the second step is heading with subpoint. It is usually fetches 3 marks where the heading is in capital letters and give a short 2-3 line explanation and underline the at least 2 or 3 keywords in the every point. And in 10 questions, structure matters more than the fancy language. And the third step is the diagram or schedule if required, which generally carries 2 marks. And if a diagram is possible, it is not optional, you must draw it and use a pencil, a scale, label it nicely and write the caption below the diagram. And skipping the diagram often leads to marks loss. And finally, end your answers with a short conclusion or summary. Therefore, this helps in achieving the economic stability. Now, this tells the examiner that your answer is complete and well organized. We will see a couple of examples. First is a question is asked: if an economy in an economy bank rate is increased, how will it affect the demand for credit? Explain. So at the beginning, the definition of bank rate is given, then 2 or 3 points written, keywords are highlighted, and at the end the summary is given. The structure is beautiful, student gets full marks. Another example of the Trinity method layout. Question is state the meaning of environmental crisis and its impact on resources. Definition of environmental crisis, point with keywords, and at the end the answer is beautifully summarized. This is how we should write a theory-based 6 marks question. Next type of questions are numerical questions. Numerical questions may look safe, but in reality, they are the most risky 6 marks in the paper. Why? Because numericals are either all or nothing. So you either get full marks or you lose most of them. So CBSE numericals have almost no subjectivity. So unless your method is clearly visible, partial marks are very hard to get in the numericals. So that is why toppers follow a very strict rule to stay safe. The formula step unit method, right? So the first and most important step is to write the formula first, always, right? And even if you are confident with the calculation and answers, never skip the formula. And writing something like GDP at MP is equal to C plus I plus G plus X minus M in the bracket can itself earn marks. So even if the final answer goes wrong, so skipping the formula is like giving away free marks. So second step is to calculate neatly in a vertical step-by-step manner. Never write calculations in the margins, diagonally, or all over the page. So clean calculations make the examiner trust your work, and messy ones do the opposite. So the final step is to write the proper units and box the final answer with a pencil. You have to box it. Never stop it at just a number. Instead of writing NI is equal to 1200, write full. Write national income is equal to rupees 1200 crores. So, and draw a neat box around it using a pencil. So, a boxed answer tells the examiner that the question is complete. This method is not just about maths, it's about the psychology, and when your work looks neat, clean, marks follow naturally. Whenever you see a question that says distinguish between, difference between, or stop for a second. This is where many students lose marks. These are not paragraph questions, and the moment you start writing long paragraph, marks started slipping away quietly. So both these questions, there is only one correct method, the table format. Always draw table with 3 columns. Basis of distinction, concept A and concept B. Many students ask, sir, why not just 2 columns? The reason is very simple. The basis of distinction column shows the examiner that you understand why the 2 concepts are different. So that one column often separates an average answer from the topper's answer. And when choosing the basis, don't write random stuff, don't write random points. Stick to what examiner prefers, like meaning, nature, component, objective, scope, examples, etc. Always remember few golden rules. Write the same number of points on both sides and keep the same order, and limit each point to 1 or 2 lines, right? And lightly underline the actual difference with a pencil and avoid extra explanation. A clean, balanced table makes the examiner comfortable, and when the examiner is comfortable, marks come easily. Now let me end with one real habit that topper always follow. They finish the paper about 15 minutes early, and that extra time is not for sitting idle, it is for polishing the paper, using it to box all the final answers, underline headings and keywords, check your graphs, check all your diagrams, labels on the diagrams as well. And these very small things may seem minor, but they often decide whether your score stays at 90 or jumps to 95 plus. So at the same time, stay away from common mark killers like don't overwrite just to fill this space. Never mix up micro and macroeconomics terms, and keep your answer sheet clean by avoid unnecessary cutting and scratching. Don't overwrite, right? A neat paper creates confidence, and not just for you but also for the examiner, right? So remember that economics is not a hard subject, it is a precise one. So when you get structure, keyword and visibility right, the examiner stop cutting marks and starts giving them. So Your goal in the board exam is not to impress, it is to make the examiner's job easy, and do that consistently, and scoring 95% won't be luck. It will be a pure strategy. Go write like a topper, you have got this.